Barakatan Yahweh, Barakatan Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakatesh, Juan to Ajashrala, and to the Israelite foreigners. Alright, family. First of all, I must start off by saying that I will no longer play no background music because I hope you guys did see that YouTube, fucking Esau and Amalek, they blocked my video of Ezekiel that was covering Ezekiel chapter 16, 17, and 18. You know, I titled it YAHRUSHALAYIM, the eagle and the vine, and the false proverb. I guess they said because, you know, the background music is from the cable TV, you know, the hip hop and R&B music channel. I don't dictate what the fuck their playlist is, but I guess Sony Music Entertainment made a block on me because copyright reasons, I guess, you know, which has nothing to do with the context of what I was saying, but you know, I said a lot of things, you know, like especially that chapter 17, the eagle and the vine, speaks about America. You know how this fucking devil is, man. So whatever, man. No more music in the background. I hope most of you got a chance to see that video. If not, I don't know. But let's proceed. You know, nothing's gonna divert me from doing this work. So let's get edified. Chapter 22, sins of Jerusalem. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Now, son of man, will you judge? Will you judge the bloody city? Yes, show her abominations. Then say, Thus says Yahweh your Elohim, the city sheds blood in her own midst, that her time may come, and she makes idols within herself to defile herself. You have become guilty by the blood which you have shed, and have defiled yourself with the idols which you have made. You have caused your days to draw near, and have come to the end of your years. Therefore I have made you a reproach to the nations, and a mockery to all the countries. Those near and those afar from you will mock you, infamous and full of tumult. Look, the prince of Jerusalem, each one has used his power to shed blood in you. To you they have made light of the father and mother. In your midst they have oppressed the stranger. In you they have mistreated the fatherless and the widow. You have despised my holy things and profaned my Sabbaths. See, I'm a positive right there, man. You know, we let the Most High down, man, and we masqueraded trying to serve him under our own idols, man, like we do to this day. And once again, he mentioned the Sabbath, man, the Shabbat, man. It's the fourth commandment, man. So obviously it's important, man. You know, all his commandments, man. Like Yahweh Shai said, from the smallest to the greatest, man. Now let's proceed. And you are men who slander to cause bloodshed, and you are those who eat on the mountains. In your midst they commit lewdness. In you uncover the father's nakedness. In you they violate women who are set apart during their impurity. One commits abominations with his neighbor's wife. Another lewdly defiles his daughter-in-law, and another violates his sister, his father's daughter. In you they take bribes to shed blood. You take usury and increase. You have made profit from your neighbors by extortion, and have forgotten me, says Yahweh Elohim. I'm positive for many. You know, ain't nothing new under the sun. You know, that's how it is too, man. You know, you know, sell out jakes, man. You know, so your own people out, man. Hey, behold, therefore I beat my fist at the dishonest profit which you have made, and at the bloodshed which has been in your midst. Can you hear? Can your heart endure, or can your hands remain strong in the days when I shall deal with you? I, Yahweh, have spoken, and I will do it. I will scatter you amongst the nations, disperse you throughout the countries, and remove your filthiness completely from you. You shall defile yourself in the sight of nations. Then you shall know that I am Yahweh, the Elohim. Okay, see, like I said before, man, everything that has happened, will happen, and is happening has always been foretold by our Heavenly Father, and we are scattered across the nations, and we are a mockery. And no, you know, you already know fucked up conditions we're in. Israel in the furnace, see? We're in the lake of fire right now. And the word of the Most High came to me, saying, Son of man, the house of Jasharallah has become dross to me, and they are all bronze, tin, iron, and lead. In the midst of a furnace they have become dross from silver. Therefore thus says Yahweh Elohim, because you have all become dross. Therefore, behold, I will gather you into the midst of Jerusalem, as men gather silver, bronze, iron, lead, and tin, and into the midst of the furnace, to blow fire on it, to melt it. So I will gather you in my anger and my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you there. Yes, I will gather you and blow on you with the fire of my wrath, and you shall be melted in the midst. As silver is melted in the midst of furnace, so shall you be melted in the midst. Then you shall know that I am Yahweh Elohim, have poured out my fury on you. Father, right there, yeah, man, we are in the furnace because now we're stuck under, sun worshiping Esau's condition, and 2/3 of our people are sun worshiping, moon worshiping, and doing all the abominations, man. So yeah, we're on the fire, man. Now let's continue, man. Israel's wicked leaders, and the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, say to her, you are a land that is not cleansed, or reign on the day of indignation. The conspiracy of the prophets in her midst is like a roaring lion, tearing the prey. They have devoured people. They have taken treasures and precious things. They have made many widows in their midst. Her priests have violated my law and profaned my holy things. They have not distinguished between the holy and the unholy, nor have they made known the difference between the unclean and the clean. They have hidden their eyes from my Shabbat, so that I am profane amongst them. I'm going to stop that for a minute right here. So here it is. He's saying here that the prophets conspire, right? And that priests have violated his laws. Nobody's keeping, how they said that the law was done away with. That's bullshit. They say that Paul did away with the law. That's not true. And then they say here that they don't distinguish the holy from the unholy. You know what I'm saying? So false doctrines are accepted. And then it says here is that they don't make the difference between the clean and unclean. They're eating pork, shrimp, all that shit, and they don't honor the Sabbath, man. Instead, they switch it to sun worshiping. Okay, so let's proceed. Her prince is in her midst are like wolves tearing the prey, to shed blood, to destroy people, and to get dishonest gain. Her prophets plaster them with untampered mortar, seeing false visions and dividing lies for them, saying, this says Yahweh Elohim, when the Lord has not spoken. The people of the land have used oppressions, committed robbery, mistreated the poor, needy, and they wrongfully oppressed the stranger. So I sought for a man among them who would make a wall and stand in the gap before me on behalf of the land, that I should not destroy it, but I found no one. Therefore I have poured out my indignation on them. I have consumed them with the fire of my wrath, and I have recompensed their deeds on their own heads, says Yahweh Elohim. All right, man, let's trace it back, because that's the end of chapter 22. But there's a lot to cover here. Okay, let's begin with here that with the bloodshed and the dishonest and the plastering of mortar and false visions. These synagogues, these cathedrals, these temples, whatever, man. They're made out of man-made mortar, and they do say false doctrines and false visions, because Christianity has no vision. They're bullshitting, and that misleads the people, and they oppress. They take tithes and bribes, and they do mistreat the stranger. If you could be a bum ass fool, you want to sit in the congregation, they ain't having that shit. And and also he's always like, you could use Noah as an example, Lot, just to name a couple people where if there's a righteous person or not, he will hold back his wrath, or he will deliver them. Well, at this point in stage, he didn't find anyone worthy of it. So, he turned both kingdoms in to oppress her, and we're in danger of that again. But 1/3 will be restored. Now let's proceed to chapter 23. Two heartless sisters. The word of the Most High came to me again, saying, Son of man, there were two women, the daughter of one mother. They committed harlotry in Egypt. They committed harlotry in their youth. Their breasts were their emblems. Their virgin bosoms was their press. Their names Ohola, the elder, and Ohaliba, her sister. They were mine, and they were bore sons and daughters. As for their names, Samaria is Ohala, and Jerusalem is Oholiba. The older sister, Samaria, that's the northern kingdom. No name for the northern kingdom, full of idolatrous idols since day one. Ohala played the harlot even though she was mine, and she lusted for her lovers, the neighboring Assyrians who were clouded in purple, captains and rulers, all of them desirable young men, horsemen, riding on horses. Thus she committed harlotry with them. All of them choose men of Assyria, and with all of for them who she lusted, and with all their idols she defiled herself. She has never given up her harlotry brought from Egypt, for in her youth they had laid with her, pressed her virgin bosom, and poured out the immorality upon her. Therefore I have delivered her into the hand of her lovers, into the hand of the Assyrians, from whom she lusted. They uncovered her nakedness, took away her sons and daughters, and slew her with the sword. She became a byword among women, for they had executed judgment on her. All right, man. Like once again I said, the Assyrians conquered the northern kingdom before the first Babylonian captivity of the southern tribe. And Joseph's two children, Manasseh and Ephraim, and that's what we're known as Ephraim, they were born in Egypt. So pretty much, like, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, they never really departed from Egypt, even to this day, spiritual Egypt, because Cubans, they're like one of the rare so-called Hispanic people. They are pro-Republican, and Puerto Rico is pretty much belongs to the U.S. with spiritual Egypt. So they've always been joined by the hip with Egypt, and they also practice a lot of divination and Santeria and all these other fucking works of iniquity. So we were the first to roll. You know, he allowed, and when the Assyrians came, they idolized the Assyrians. The Assyrians were known for like having like garments and clothes and linens and nice colors and ornaments and jewels and stones and they idolize that, to this day. They're money hungry, and they sell out their own people, man. So nothing new under the sun. So let's proceed. And like I said, man, Ezekiel has a lot of knowledge, man. That's why this book, we gotta take it 3 chapters at a time at the very least, at the most, I mean. Now, the younger sister, YAHRUSHALAYIM. Now, although her sister Oholiba saw this, she became more corrupt in her lust than she, and in her harlotry more corrupt than her sister's harlotry. She lusted for the neighboring Assyrians, captains and rulers, clothes most gorgeous, horsemen riding on horses, all of them desirable young men. Yeah, see, glorified be your name, Father. Like I mentioned, the Assyrians were known, because the Assyrians and the Babylonians pretty much like the same fucking people, man. Then I saw that she was, or they believe in the same pagan god shit, man. Then I saw that she was defiled, both took the same way, but she increased her harlotry. She looked at men portrayed on the wall, images of Chaldeans portrayed in Vimmelon, girding with belts around their waists, flowing turbans on their heads, all of them looking like captives in the manner of Babylonian of Chaldea in the land of their nativity. As soon as her eyes saw them, she lusted for them and sent messengers to them in Chaldea. Then Babylonians came to her into the bed of love, and they defiled her with their immorality. So she was defiled by them and alienated herself from them. She veiled her harlotry and uncovered her nakedness. Then I alienated myself from her, as I had alienated myself from her sister. Yet she multiplied her harlotry and calling to remembrance the days of her youth, when she had played the harlot in the land of Egypt. For she lusted for her paramours, whose flesh is like the flesh of donkeys, and whose issue is like the issue of horses. Thus you call to remembrance the lewdness of your youth, when the Egyptians press your bosoms because of your youthful breasts. Okay, let me stop right there. Okay, let's cover. He's talking about Judah, the southern kingdom, darker brothers. Now, see, when it says the manner of the Babylonians, the land of their nativity, it's because, like I had said earlier, Abraham, our grandfather, he came out of Mesopotamia, out of Chaldea, out of because see, Abraham was a contemporary. He lived around the same time as a scumbag Nimrod, and at that time, Nimrod already had started his Babylonian mystery religion after the flood. So the Most High had to counter that, for humanity's sake, and he made Abraham a nation. So therefore, the race began between the serpent seed, Babylonian witchcraft bullshit, and the children of Israel, man. Just so you know. And let's proceed. Therefore, Oholiba, thus says Yahweh Elohim, behold, I will stir up your lovers against you, from whom you have alienated yourself, and I will bring them against you from every side. The Babylonians, all the Chaldeans, Pekah, Shoah, Koah, all the Syrians with them, all of them desirable young men, governors and rulers, captains, men of renown, all of them riding on horses, and they shall come against you with chariots, wagons, and war horses. With a horde of people they shall array against you, buckle, shield, and helmet all around. I will delegate judgment to them, and they shall judge you according to their judgment. And I will set my jealous against you, and they shall deal furiously with you. They shall remove your nose and your ears, and your remnant shall fall by the sword. They shall take your sons and daughters, and your remnants shall be devoured by fire. They shall also strip you of your clothes and take you away with your beautiful jewelry. Thus I will make you cease your lewdness and your harlotry, brought from the land of Egypt, so that you will not lift your eyes to them, nor remember Egypt any more. For thus says Yahweh Elohim, surely I will deliver you into the hands of those you hate, and into the hands of those from whom you alienate yourself. They will deal hatefully with you, take away all you have worked for, and leave you naked, and bear the nakedness of your harlotry shall be uncovered, both your lewdness and your harlotry. I will do these things to you because you have gone as a harlot after the Gentiles, because you have become defiled by their idols. You have walked in the ways of your sister. Therefore I will put her cup in your hand, thus says Yahweh Elohim. You shall drink of your sister's cup, the deep and wide one. You shall be laughed to scorn and held in derision. It contains much. You will be fouled with drunkenness and sorrow, the cup of horror and desolation. The cup of your sister Samaria, you shall drink and drain it. You shall break its shards, and tear it at your own breast. For I have spoken, says Yahweh Elohim. Therefore thus says the Most High, because you have forgotten me and cast me behind your back, therefore you shall bear penalty of your lewdness and your harlotry. I'm going to stop it there for a minute. Okay, basically, there's no coincidence that these fucking devils have that pyramid, and the $1 bill, because these 7 nations, including the U.S., UN nations, have ruled the sun worshiping devil, Satan's kingdoms of the world. Egypt, Babylon, Assyria, Greece, Persia, Rome, and the United Nations and the U.S. And we've been slaves to all those kingdoms, because we we covet and desire what they have, and therefore, and once we are in captivity, then we don't like it, so then we want to come back, and that's the same story all the time, but only one third is going to get delivered. And it's true, because now we know it says here, that we're on the same boat, man. That's why you find so-called Latinos and so-called African Americans in the same predicament all over the world, man. You know what I'm saying? We drink the same cup of indignation, man. And we do suffer drunkenness, sorrows, and all kind of fucked up shit, man. Let's proceed. Both sisters' judgment. Now Yahweh said to me, Son of man, will you judge Ohala and Ohilibah? Then declare to them their abominations. For they have committed adultery, and blood is on their hands. They have committed adultery with their idols, and even sacrificed their sons, whom they bore to me, passing them through the fire to devour them. Moreover, they have done this to me. They have defiled my sanctuary on the same day, and profaned my Shabbat. For all they have had their children slain for idols. On the same day they came into the sanctuary to profane it, and indeed thus they have done it in the midst of my house. Furthermore, they sent for men to come from afar, to whom a messenger was sent. And there they came, and you washed yourself for them, painted your eyes, and adorned yourself with ornaments. You sat on the stately couch with a table prepared before it, on which you had set my incense and my oil. The sounds of carefree multitude was with her, and Sabians were brought from the wilderness with men of the common sort, who put bracelets in their wrists and beautiful crowns on their heads. Then I said concerning for who had grown old in adulteries, will they commit harlotry with her now, and she with them? Yet they went into her, and men go into a woman who placed the harlot. Thus they went into Ohala and Ohalibah, the lewd women. But righteous men will judge them after the manner of adulteress, and after the manner of women who shed blood, because they are adulterous, and blood is on their hands. For thus says Yahweh Elohim, bring up an assembly against them, give them up to trouble and plunder. The assembly shall stone them with stones, and execute them with their swords. They shall slay their sons and their daughters, and burn their houses with fire. Thus I will cast lewdness to cease from the land, and now woman may be taught not to practice lewdness. They shall repay you for your lewdness, and you shall pay for your idolatrous sins. Then you shall know that I am Yahweh Elohim. All right, let's run it back. Basically saying that we have committed idolatry, because yeah, man, we're idolizing both kingdoms now, and once again the Sabbath has been defiled, because now people, some Jakes don't believe in the Sabbath, and then others are taking sun worshiping as the Sabbath, so we have defiled his home, you know what I mean, and we have mixed in with all these multitudes and guiding them, we've gained the characteristics of these other unclean nations, man. But these same nations that we dropped that we've learned all this shit from, they have us oppressed, man. And he said they continue to have us oppressed. We won't be delivered till Yahushua delivers us. Now, this chapter 24, symbol of the cooking pot. Again, in the 9th year, in the 10th month, and the 10th day of the month, the word of the Most High came to me, saying, Son of man, write down the names and the days This very day, the king of Babylon started his siege against Jerusalem this very day, and uttered parable to the rebellious house, and say to them, Thus says Yahweh Elohim, put on a pot, set it on, and also pour water into it. Gather pieces of meat in it, every good piece, the thigh and the shoulder. Fill it with choice cuts. Take the choice of the flock and the powerful bones under it. Make it boil well, and let the cuts simmer in. Therefore, thus says Yahweh Elohim, woe to the bloody city, to the pot whose scum is in, and whose scum is not gone from it. Bring it out piece by piece, on which no lot has fallen. For her blood is in her midst. She set it on the top of a rock. She did not pour it on the ground, to cover it with dust, that it may rise up fury and take vengeance. I have set her blood on the top of a rock, that it may not be covered. Thus forth says Yahweh Elohim, woe to the bloody city. I will to will make the pie great. Heap on the wood, kindle the fire, cook the meat well, mix in the spices, and let the cuts be burned. Then set the pot empty on the coals, that it may become hot, and its bonds may burn, that its filthiness may be melted in it, that its scum may be consumed. It has grown weary with lies, and that her great scum has not gone from her. Let her scum be in the fire, and your filthiness is lewdness, because I have cleansed you, and you will not be cleansed of your filthiness any more, till I have caused my fury to rest upon you. I, Yahweh, have spoken it. It shall come to pass, and I will do it. I will not hold back, nor I will spare, nor will I relent. According to your ways, according to your deeds, they will be judging you. You will be judged by it, says Yahweh Elohim. Okay, basically he's saying the thorns and thistles, to pretty much throw every good cut and throw every shitty cut into the boiling water, that refurbished by fire, basically, and basically burn out the dirt, man, the scum, because till this day you still have 2/3 wicked and sellout jakes, and coon jakes, they're in the mix, you know what I'm saying. So basically he said basically that we're gonna be a melting pot, you know what I'm saying, and once all the whoever endures that, that'll be the prime cuts, and that will be purified, and that will be pretty much the elect, the remnant, the 1/3. So now the prophet's wife dies. Says, also the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, behold, I take away from you the desire of your eyes with one stroke. Yet you shall neither mourn nor weep, nor shall you tears run down. Sign in silence, make no mourning for the dead. Bind your turban on your head, and put your sandals on your feet. Do not cover your lips, and do not eat man's bread of sorrow. So I spoke to the people in the morning, and at the evening my wife died. And the next morning I did as I was commanded. And the people said to me, Will you not tell us what these things signify to us, that you behave so? Then I answered them, The word of the Most High came to me, saying, Speak to the house of Israel. Thus says Yahweh Elohim, Behold, I will profane my sanctuary, your arrogant booths, the desire of your eyes, the delight of your souls, and your sons and daughters whom you left behind shall fall by the sword, and you shall do as I have done. You shall not cover your lips, nor eat man's bread of sorrow. Your turbans shall be on your heads, and your sandals on your feet. You shall neither mourn nor weep, but you shall pine away in your iniquities and mourn with one another. Thus Ezekiel is a sign to you according to all that he has done, and you shall do. And when this comes, you shall know that I am Yahweh your Elohim. And you, son of man, will it not be in that day when I take from them their stronghold, their joy, and their glory, the desire of their eyes, that on which they set their minds, their sons and their daughters, that on that day one who escapes will come to you, and let you hear it with your ears. Or that day your mouth will be open to him who has escaped. You shall speak and no longer be mute. Thus you will be a sign to them, and they shall know that I am Yahweh Elohim. Okay, basically, he's saying not to mourn for the walking departed, man. That's what he didn't mourn for his wife, and he basically to endure the captivity. And that's how you have to do too, man. You're gonna be desensitized to that. You're gonna lose friends, you're gonna lose family, you're gonna lose women, brothers, whatever, man. And you gotta be desensitized, because it's the Lord's will, and whoever endures in the end, he will be delivered. That's pretty much the message. So I hope this was edifying. Like I said, always read these chapters for yourself, so you could digest them, faster or better, because like I said before, some of us get it faster than others, and we'll see if we could do another video later. And shalom.